This is not a review of day one of the Perth Test, but something else that caught my attention, which I thought I should share with you. So when I switched on the TV this morning, I saw this tiny little score box at the top left of the screen as opposed to the usual band at the bottom. And this took me on a nostalgia trip because I grew up watching cricket in early 2000s and that is where the score used to be. So I thought, why not share something with you, the evolution of the score box rather. So, cricket has followed other sports, mainly football, in this regard in terms of adapting to different formats. So, what used to happen until 70s, 80s, and early 90s was, अगर आपने TV on करा, you would see the score on the top right of the screen, but it wouldn't be there constantly. So, there were times अगर आपने TV on करा, you would have to wait a few minutes for you to see what the score is. Now, this was identified as a very big pain point by a TV producer in the UK who was covering football. कि why do I have to wait 10-15 minutes to know what the score is after turning on the game? So he built this score box, which was a constant presence at the top corner of the screen, which would tell you what the score was. This was football, by the way. But the first commercial application of it happened in 94. Necessity is the mother of invention. So cricket में easy रहता है, हर over के बाद there's a break so you can show the ads of different brands and sponsors. But in football, as per the FIFA regulations, you're supposed to show 45 minutes of uninterrupted football. So during the 94 World Cup, which was held in US, they had 5 sponsors. And because you have to show uninterrupted football, they're like, how do we show the brand's name to the viewers? So this is where they came with the concept of this score box, or as it was called back then, score bug, which was a constant presence at the top left of your screens with the branding of the sponsor, and the name of the sponsor would keep on changing during the course of the game. It was initially met with a lot of hate and anger by the purists. Why are you ruining our viewing experience? But it became much more accepted and embraced as time went along. Cricket followed in the same footsteps, and you would see the scorecards of that era being that constant presence at the top right of the screen, where if you have to show the details, they would kindly add one more rows to it to show it. Now, what used to happen was at that point of time, TVs were much more smaller, and hence that placement made sense. But during the mid 2000s, they felt, to keep the viewer much more engrossed while watching a TV, there's a chance we can use statistics for that, where I can show you the batters, I can show you the score, run rate, required rate, target, bowling speed, much more things to make it a really interesting experience. And if I just keep on doing at the top right, it would become a long column. So where else do we explore? Parallelly, people were buying bigger TVs now, as opposed to the earlier 24 by 24. People were buying much more broader TVs, and hence they found this space at the bottom, which allowed them to show much more different data points in rotation, which is the common scorecard that we have been seeing for 10-15 years now, and which is also present today. So you would see that band at the bottom, and you would see different points being rotated. Now cut to 2015-16, where internet became really big. People were streaming it, sharing it on social media, and so the broadcasters felt, people are watching it, recording it on their phones to put it on their TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. In doing so, I don't want my score branding to lose out. So which is where they started concentrating the score panels at the bottom center of the screen, so that even if anybody is taking a recording through their phone and putting it on some other platform, the score would still be visible, which would not be the case if it was spread across the bottom or shown on the top right. And because more and more people were using smartphones and other smaller screens, you would see the scores also became much more bigger in font size, which was a need because TV pe you have a bigger screen, so even a smaller thing appears much more larger, but that was not the case in a mobile screen. So you would see slightly larger font sizes. And then we have seen a lot of experimentation by different broadcasters across countries, and we're like, अरे यार ये अच्छा है, ये नहीं अच्छा है, ये क्यों कर रहे हैं? So yeah, this recent or latest experiment rather by Channel 7 piqued my interest, where they are having the top placement of the score box along with the band at the bottom. So yeah, I thought I would share this story with you. It really took me on a nostalgia trip. By the way, which is your favorite score strip or score box over the years? Do let me know in the comments.